All right, we got to talk about it. DeepSeek AI is here. It is a Chinese-based company that has been making waves in the last week that is rivaling OpenAI's Model O1. I do have to say, this looks a little bit similar to the ChatGPT interface, but what we do know inside of this is that it does have a lot of similarities. To be honest, all of these large language models are just copying off of each other when it comes to the interface, so I'm not going to get too caught up on that. But it does look eerily similar to ChatGPT. Hi, my name is Dimitri Panici, and I'm a content creator, agency owner, and AI enthusiast. You're listening to the AI Agents Podcast, brought to you by Jotform, and featuring our very own CEO and founder, Ida Tank. This is the show where artificial intelligence meets innovation, productivity, and the tools shaping the future of work. Enjoy the show. All right, we got to talk about it. DeepSeek AI is here. It is a Chinese-based company that has been making waves in the last week that is rivaling OpenAI's Model O1. As you can see on the homepage of this website, it breaks down its capabilities and compares it to different models. And at the moment, it's actually 100% free. And they also have an API that's available as well. And it also seems to have an API that's in the works. You do get this error when you go on the website, but I'm very interested to see how this all plays out. So we're going to play around with it in this video and show you how it works. So if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, make sure to go to our YouTube channel, the AI Agents Podcast. And no matter where you're listening, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit it with a like, and do not forget to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts as we are trying to rank higher in the world of AI and podcasts. However, first, I just want to talk a little bit about how DeepSeek seemed to have come to the forefront here. It's not necessarily something that you experience every day, a new product just popping out of the blue, seemingly 100% free from a country that genuinely has seen some pretty rapid growth in tech in the last little while. And all I did was literally signed in with my Google account. And next thing you know, you have the ability to use search and the ability to use DeepThink, which is the more advanced deep logic and reasoning solving problems here, which unfortunately, when it works with ChatGPT on the base level, you only get so many different uses, but this is starting already with text extraction from documents, searches. I think I could probably give it a screenshot if I gave it a try in comparison to ChatGPT. I'm curious if we can do that. The answer is yes. I can take a screenshot and I can just ask, what is this a screenshot of? And as you can see, when I ask it a question, pretty quick response. Yeah, it is. It is literally the DeepSeek AI. And I do have to say, this looks a little bit similar to the ChatGPT interface, but what we do know inside of this is that it does have a lot of similarities, but to be honest, all of these large language models are just copying off of each other when it comes to the interface. So I'm not going to get too caught up on that, but it does look eerily similar to ChatGPT. Just a little bit of background on the product though. It is a AI model based out of China. The model was developed by the Chinese AI startup DeepSeek, which claims that the R1 matches or even surpasses ChatGPT O1 on multiple key benchmarks, but operates at a fraction of the cost. This is kind of a key differentiator here. The cost is obviously something with AI everyone's concerned about. DeepSeek's success is even more remarkable given the constraints facing Chinese AI companies in the form of increasing US export controls on cutting-edge chips. But early evidence shows that these measures are not working as intended. Rather than weakening China's AI capabilities, the sanctions appear to actually be driving startups like DeepSeek to innovative ways to prioritize efficiency, resource pooling, and collaboration. So the old adage, you make with what you have. I don't know if that's an actual old adage, but the concept of you limit someone's resources, they try to get more innovative. That's actually what seems to have happened here. And there have actually been reports that the founder of this ended up finding a way to basically jerry-rig a bunch of 10,000 NVIDIA GPUs together. Now, that's just a rough estimate that's been out there, but essentially what we've found is that the product requires a significant number of GPUs and high-performance networking to keep its lights on, and allegedly, they're actually using unreleased versions of NVIDIA GPUs out there. This is the specific thing that I read. The Chinese media outlet 36KR estimates that the company has over 10,000 units in stock of a NVIDIA A100 chips, a type that's now banned from export to China. But Dylan Patel, the founder of the AI research consultancy Semi-Analysis, estimates that it has at least 50,000. Recognizing the potential of this stockpile for AI training is what led Liang to establish DeepSeek, which was able to use them in combination with the lower power chips to develop its models. So essentially, the US tried to starve out this innovation in China, and what's happening is they're just making these models already very capable. So I'm going to test it on some like logic-based stuff. So with DeepThink R-Run, I'm going to like propose it with an interesting thought experiment. So like I'm going to get philosophical here for a second, but explain in depth how you can have epistemic justification for reasoning via something outside your sense data, aka how can you justify the existence of transcendental categories? I'm just curious if it can answer like a philosophy question. Okay, and it's interesting here. So it's actually showing the thinking. So I tried to get it I tried to give it like a advanced thinking question. As you can see, it's already talking about Kant and Kant's philosophy on transcendental categories. So this took 16 seconds here. Okay, so Kant's synthesis is that he argued that transcendental categories are innate structures of the mind, not derived from experience, but necessary to organize it. They act as a framework that allows raw sensory data to be synthesized. These categories are justified a priori independently of experience because they are prerequisites for any possible existence. For example, the category of causality is not inferred from observing events, but is required to perceive sequences of, yeah, that's how that would work. Without transcendental categories, sensory input would be a chaotic flux. This is all aligned with how it works. Kant's transcendental deduction posits that categories must exist because they are the conditions that make experience possible itself. And he's claiming that it's not circular reasoning, but a logical necessity. Categories are justified because they are the rules without experience would lack order and intelligibility. And then gets into some more explanations. Yeah, so this is like a decently complex philosophical thing. So I figured breaking this down in this DeepSeek would make sense. So as you can see, it can think pretty well. It's at least able to spit out responses to philosophical questions. Not that you would ever do this, but it's always good for a quick logic test to see if this stuff works. But I'd like to get into another thing real quick, which is probably more the code-based stuff. So write a basic Chrome extension code for a product that can capture markdown text and serve as a basic to-do list. Curious what it's gonna spit out. And I love how it actually shows it. Usually like it's showing like this in ChatGPT, but this actually just like walks through all of it in front of you. Now you could just keep it like this, but I find that interesting. And by the way, what is interesting too is you can use the DeepThink and search at the same time, which you cannot do in ChatGPT. You can only do O1 without search, as you can see here. As you can see here, if I go to O1, there is no search capability, but in 4.0, there's a search capability. Now, there's got to be some issues with the fact that it's copying the same logos and stuff, but probably haven't copy marked. I guess ChatGPT probably hasn't copyrighted that in a UI like this, but I'm not sure. As you can see, it gave me a bunch of code, which is cool. I do want to kind of talk about this though, because it doesn't seem to give me any canvas capabilities, unlike ChatGPT right now. There's no scheduling of tasks. Or anything to that effect. So not exactly great there. But I do like that it made this in the same sort of copy paste format that ChatGPT has. So it's pretty solid. Also, just to point out, if you haven't noticed, it is free right now, right? The annoying thing is that all the articles you want to look at about this product are not free for the most part. But anyways, the capabilities of this product are being talked about a lot on the internet, but there is no cost to it at the moment. And some other minor notes are that if you're a benchmark person, you can absolutely compare this to the other products out there. They don't have a direct comparison to GPT-01, but they do have one in comparison to 4.0, Claude 3.5, Llama 3.1. And the ones that are in bold are like the highest rank out of the list. And it seems like it's kind of killing it at code. and math. The product also does have a DeepSeek AI mobile app, which is interesting, and it pretty much works in the exact same way as the desktop app. Now, when it comes to the API, let's talk about that. Obviously, you probably want to see some of that. So if I go to the API docs, they do exist here. So someone already built this out, which is great. And people are actually a little bit concerned on the American and ChatGPT side at the cost of this. It is cheap, 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 cheap. So if we take a look at the cost per million tokens, right? Even for like ChatGPT 4.0, $250 for a million input tokens, right? 1 million input tokens price. Look at that price. Do you see the difference? $2.5 versus 1.5 cents ish. And then for the DeepSeek Reason version, it would be $0.14, so 14 cents. This is an incredibly different price difference. So we got input tokens versus output tokens, obviously for the reason, but like, let's go to O1 here, the cost of O1. They're an O1 cost. Oh, they don't really have O1 out. It's more in like, oh, here it is. So we got O1, $15 for a million input tokens. Look at this. Look at that price difference for the reasoner. This is an insane difference. This is 10x difference. So we got inputs versus outputs, right? So we got, for example, 1 million output tokens for $60 for O1. Okay. Output, 1 million tokens, $2. That's a 30x difference. This pricing difference is insane. They have gotten really, really interesting stuff here. I don't know quite how they're going to have this continue, but what I do know is I guess the API will have a smaller context window in comparison. I know that 64,000 is not quite what ChatGPT has in regards to context length, but it doesn't matter. The total output is exceptionally large. So if you're looking to utilize the API, right, this is going to be way cheaper than whatever you're working on with ChatGPT. So if you have ChatGPT wrapper-based products and you find that in your testing, this outputs similar information as to what ChatGPT does, you might want to use this because it is way cheaper and will literally reduce your costs by more than I can even express. I mean, $0.014 for the input and then $0.28 for the output. Let's compare that to 4.0 real quick one more time because I'm just trying to wrap my head around this. $10 and 2.5, so 12.5, basically $12.5 for both of those versus 40 cents. Like I said, like a 30 times cost difference. That's not okay. I mean, I'm not saying it's not okay in the sense that it's not like this isn't somewhat reasonable, but the difference is astronomical. And obviously you can get lower pricing with price batching, but even with the price batching, it's like half, but that would only make it a 15x cost difference. And obviously, like I said, the context window is 128K for 4.0 and 200K for O1, but I'm sure the context window is going to get bigger for DeepSeek. And if the pricing's already this cheap, it's definitely something to consider. If you want to get into more philosophy with it, you can ask it about tag, which is a transcendental argument for justification of thought. Getting philosophical with AI is hilarious, but regardless of that, yeah, I mean, this doesn't really I don't really know what else to say. Like, can I ask it a question like, can you make a canvas of the code? See if I can do something with canvas, because I don't think it can. But the search and the deep thinking capability is very intriguing to me. I did get a response saying the server is busy. Please try again later because of the overwhelm of this. But long story short, it is a disruptor in the space. If you want to try it out, I would recommend giving it a shot. But here's something that I will have to say to put some context together here. It has some bias, just as the US has some bias. They both have different opinions on world events. That is the complete comment I will make on it. One has a certain perspective that might be more aligned with what the United States says. One might be more aligned with where this country of origin is from. I'm not going to make a comment as to the truth claims of either of those. I'm just going to say that they do have different opinions on this type of thing. And it is a little bit unstable in the sense that you are getting a couple different like errors here saying like, oh, we're busy, but now it works fine. It took me a second. But for the most part, pretty much ChatGPT without as much cost and puts a big twist into the world that we live in, because I was not expecting something like this to come out. And the United States definitely may have attempted to prevent something like this from occurring. But evidently, this is innovation that excites. So if anyone's interested in trying it out, check out DeepSeek right now. There are a bunch of different cool tutorials about the product out there that I would recommend you just scour the internet for. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.